Hello, Doc Irene. Welcome po sa Tatak UPLB. Batiin niyo po muna ang ating mga nanonood all over the world.
Kumusta kayong lahat, ang mga nakikinig sa program na ito? I am so honored to be invited to be one of the guest speaker to do my sharing. I believe that this is a very wonderful program that they have thought about and organized. So sana marami kayong matututunan.
Question. How did you
Okay.
choose your course po noon?
When I was still in high school, I have realized that I don't want typical 9 to 5 job sitting behind a desk. So veterinary medicine has given me that just the right challenge. I want the medical field. I'm not so patient to go through long years for the human medicine. And then I also want to be able to spend time outdoors while working. So I thought like the veterinary medicine is a perfect fit. And it has been always my dream to be a horse practitioner. I have been always fascinated with horses. So that was my goal that after I graduate from vet school, I will be a female equine practitioner, horse practitioner. But after I graduated, I realized that being a female, it's at that time, it was very difficult to get into a predominantly male specialized field. I switched to small animal practice, like companion animal, dealing with pets, treating pets, dogs and cats. And it has been a very enriching journey. I have been in practice for more than 30 years, so that would give away my age. I graduated from UPLB in 1989. So we were the first UPLB vet med graduates. I wanted something not the traditional career for women. And it has really been an interesting thing. There's so many field of specialization in veterinary medicine, and I'm so glad that I have been given the opportunity also to do postgrad studies on conservation of the specialized endemic species called the tarsier. I did my undergrad on an endangered species as well, the Colombian deer in Palawan. But I did the field study in Los Baños for the Colombian deer. And even until now, I'm still treating exotic pets because they have a special place in my heart. And I did an extra externship in New York in Animal Medical Center, just looking at the anesthesia side and surgery side of exotic medicine. Pretty much that's the reason why I'm in the veterinary medical field. It's a passion. It's a tough field. It's not easy. Like, you study long hours, and even getting our license here in North America, that it was a tough journey.
Ano po ba yung nami-miss niyo sa ating campus and why did you miss those places?
Before I entered the university, maybe a year before I graduated from high school, my father brought me to the different campuses just to give me an idea. So we went to the University of the Philippines in Diliman and also Ateneo de Manila University and the UPLB. Among all the campuses we have visited, the UPLB was really the one that took my breath away. The campus is so verdant, so green, lots of trees, a huge football field. I love the vibe in it. There's no traffic. And I said to myself, I want to study here. But I ended up in Diliman, which wasn't like a bad thing. Like everybody wants to go to UP Diliman. But I guess I'm really meant to go to UPLB because 2 years after I studied in UP Diliman, then they moved the veterinary medical school to the University of the Philippines in Los Baños. And I said, well, I'm really meant to be here. So I did 4 years of vet med proper in UPLB, and I really enjoyed my time in UPLB. I love the students are kind of closely knit, and we would love the after school volleyball games in Baker Hall and the indoor volleyball games, and also there were like football games and soccer right in the middle of the soccer field. What I miss so much would be just the overall, like the whole place. After exams, we used to go up to the helipad. So that was beautiful, especially on a clear night when all the stars are out, it will just take your breath away. And we love to hang out in the Erie library to study, and they have a nice canteen there where we have our lunch. The UPLB at my time when I spent 4 years there, it wasn't too commercialized yet. There were no Jollibee or Chowking or all these restaurants. So that's what really made UPLB close to my heart. It's kind of like you're in a different world because it's a short drive to Manila. It's not that far to Manila, but when you drive into the campus, it's like, oh wow, lots of old century old trees, so beautiful.
May we know what inspired you the most to be part of this community?
I know that UPLB, it has a very good reputation for excellence in research, especially in the agricultural field. And veterinary medicine, I think that's why they moved the veterinary medicine college to UPLB, because it's basically like, heavily connected to the agricultural sector. What really inspired and challenged me to be part of the community, although the vet med is, we kind of like, we see the same people for the 4 years that we were there, but of course we still made it a point to, given the opportunity, join with other colleges in some of their activities. It's the excellence in science and technology, honestly. You just have to live up to that expectation.
About naman yung career life niyo, Doc Irene. Paano po ba nakatulong ang inyong UPLB experience while you were finding your work?
When I graduated, so I right away, I think I just had a short stint with some research company, very short, and then it's mainly small animal, companion animal practice. And then in UPLB, like, being the first batch that graduated there, when we moved there, the college was not fully set up yet. So we were in Tabon for a year and a half. I'm sure you're familiar with the place. So there was a nice building there, but it's not fully set up. So we will have our exams. Come rain and high water, there can be a storm, but we will proceed with our exams in anatomy. I'm sure, because with this interview, I'm going to share this with some of my former vetmed classmates. They would understand. But despite of the challenges, we made sure that we are able to make good in our studies. And that has been really a training ground for us, a training ground that no matter what hurdles you encounter, and that kind of prepared us for the real world. Because our setup in UPLB, when the college was moved from UP Diliman, it wasn't like, fully ironed out and everything's just given to you. No, we have to shuttle back and forth from the main campus to Tabon Gate. And even when we moved to the main campus, I visited the campus 2.5 years ago, just before the global lockdown of the pandemic. And I was so amazed. They had this library and they have this kind of a museum inside, fully air conditioned, and the huge library. And I was like, and we didn't have that. It was just our class in the entire college. There were just like 40 of us students. Like, we didn't even have our walk-in freezer yet for our anatomy classes. So, but it never discouraged us from studying very well and excelling in our different subjects. So that kind of trained and carried through as I started my professional career. And the same with my husband, who happened to be my former classmate in UPLB. We were both in vet school.
Mm.
That's how we met. So when we decided to move to Canada, we already agreed that we're going to both go for our licenses here in Canada, in North America. And it's very rare that somebody would have that laid out as a concrete plan, because there's so many hurdles, that the cost, the time that you have to allocate in preparing for exams, and the uncertainty. Nobody can guarantee you that you will get your license, right? Even if you have spent so much money already and have taken or retaken so many exams. But our training in UPLB has really prepared us that if you focus, for us, me and my husband, he's also UPLB alumnus, in order to achieve success, failure is not an option, but be prepared to fail, which means that on your road to success, getting our licenses, professional veterinary license here in North America, our end in mind is we are really going to get it. And along the road, there can be failures, but you stand up and go for it again. These are just challenges and hurdles, and eventually you are going to get it. And we are living proof of that. So we focus. I always would share, because a lot of people have already asked us, how did we do it? From what I know, there are 4 of us here in Ontario. I
Mm.
know there's a few also in British Columbia, but there's 4 of us here who work in small animal practice and fully licensed. But I always tell those who want to go for what we went through that delayed gratification is the key. You have to forgo so many things. You have to sacrifice. You have to forgo socialization. We studied 16 hours a day. It's a full-time
Oh,
job
that's
to
a
prepare for the.
lot.
I know. We wake up. we wake up and like you open your review books in veterinary medicine while you're having your breakfast, and it goes straight the whole day until you have your dinner and you go to bed. 16 hours. That's what I like. We also share, like, for other nationalities who come here and want to go for their licenses. We in the past, we even trained some of them in our clinic. There was a program at that a few years ago, and we always tell them that delayed gratification, no partying, no shopping, no traveling, no shopping because you need your money to pay for your exams. We'll shop later once you are a vet already.
Discipline. Discipline is really needed during that time.
Absolutely. Like, oh, we said, like, you will get rewarded for your efforts and sacrifices. Like,
Mhm.
think of it. You are doing it for your family, for your future, and for stability in your career. And at the same time, like, it's for your professional fulfillment. I know I cannot speak for everyone. You've probably heard of so many stories about here, like doctors and surgeons and coming here and, like, they're doing other type of work. But the reality is it's very difficult. When you come here, you have family, you have to support them, put food on the table. It's just fortunate for us, like, we live simply, and our priority was going for our licenses. So yeah, simple, so that you can stretch out your budget and pay for your exams, and then absolutely zero shopping. And no unnecessary expenses. Yeah, because the exams are very expensive, right? And it work. So you just have to focus, laser focus. I even talked with some of my colleagues in California about experiences and going for their licenses, and we mutually agree that, like, when if you have a project and you aim for success in finishing it, going into reaching the finish line, you have to live and breathe the process. Like, you must tell yourself, this is what I want. I want this. I want my license. Like, you have to psych yourself up and talk to yourself, like, I want to practice veterinary medicine here in North America. This is what I want. Telling yourself that, there's less tendency for you to be distracted. Your schedule is just revolves around studying and preparing for your exam, because preparing for the exams, it's just not knowing, getting the knowledge, it's mental preparation as well. For all the obstacles that we encountered, you have to have the spiritual strength. Prayers really help us. You ask for spiritual guidance. Then the less discouraged you become if you have some obstacles along the way. And it will also strengthen your faith that you're eventually really going to get your license. It's not a smooth journey, right? So if
Mhm.
there's like, oh, I have to retake this particular section, then you ask for strength. You ask for strength so that you don't get discouraged, and, like, you remain steadfast. And it's just not for studying for exams or career, even in your personal, like, family. That has really, both for both me and my husband, that has really carried us through. So we didn't
Wow.
stop there. After we got our licenses, we put up our practice.
Mhm.
I think that was just a natural segue of things. And even if you have your practice, like, you ask always for guidance in being able to serve your clients well and handle your staff well. It's always a daily thing. And you ask for guidance and strength, for you to be able to do the best that you can for that day. We take it one day at a time. We plan ahead, but we take it one day at a time. It can be overwhelming. We're not perfect. We have some bad days. We can be grumpy. But overall, you want to really be able to perform well, excel. I think it's
Those
the
mhm.
UPLB trait, right? We want to excel.
Are there any characteristics that nakikita talaga sa atin?
Being hardworking. To be really hardworking means you know how to utilize properly the time that's available. There's only 24 hours in a day, and plus you need to sleep in order to be able to function properly. Hardworking means you maximize, you become, like, you make sure that you're productive in those waking hours. Hardworking, not in bursts and spurts, like hardworking consistently. So that's why it's also important to take vacation, you recharge. It's just like a car, like, the car needs to be refueled and engine oil replaced. So it's the same with us. Our bodies are like machines, but very unique. And we need to recharge. So you don't have to apologize in taking vacation. Go ahead. But when you're back to reality, consistent hard work in quality.
Oo,
Thank
Doc
you.
Irene. 'Di namin kakalimutan. We want to really hear your version of Tatak UPLB shout out.
Ako si Irene Arboleda. Tatak UPLB ako.